week we are looking at Shisochin Basics. So stand shoulder width stance, both arms up. Make sure your arms are not down. It is the same as a chest block, locked at a 90-degree angle. Your hand is open and turned in, ever so slightly out with the thumb. So you're not pressing in like this. You want to be focused on the little finger to elbow side of the arm, pressing against the collarbone and shoulder in this gap here. This is where you want to be pressing against your opponent. So this is no good. This is better. This is too much. Right, so from here, pull one hand in. Now, when you stab, don't stab at the throat or the face. Don't stab at the floor. Find the line that is at the height of your solar plexus, and that's where you're striking. Very, very important. You are not poking the person with your fingertips in the solar plexus. This is not a Mortal Kombat game. You're not going to rip his heart out. What you are doing is taking the neck and twisting the neck at an angle down to this side here, where it's easy to control your opponent. You're not stabbing your fingertips into anyone. Right. Stand shoulder width stance, pull. Out, back, pull. Out, back. So you're not working timing now. We're purely working how to do the movement. It goes to the side, goes out in line with the solar plexus, it comes back. Pull, hit, back, pull, hit, back. Good. Once you've got that, let's go on to the next basic, which is pull in. And again, here imagine the little finger edge of the hand lining up with the jaw. So I want to be striking underneath my opponent's jawline here. And once I've struck them, pull the arms down. So we go up, down, up, down, up, grab, down. So the feeling is the circular motion here. Up, pull in, down. Up, pull in, out. Up, in, out. One more. Up, in, and out. Next step in the kata, we're moving at 45 angles. So I want you to take one hand. Let's say if you're facing the camera, your left hand now, under, and your right hand, shoulder. Top hand goes down, bottom hand goes up. One. Another important thing to note here, little subtle differences from example, this type of movement in Seifer kata or Shisochin kata. My arm is not out. I'm not controlling my opponent's limb away from me, nor am I striking at my opponent where there's a gap. What Shisochin is looking at here, this arm is controlling a limb, thus it is at a 90-degree angle, pressing away from my body. The other arm is here. Why? Because the kata is telling you, you are currently against your opponent, face to face. There's no gap. You're against your opponent here. You are pressing the arm away and backwards away from your opponent, but this arm is tucked in. There's no gap. You are, in actual fact, striking your opponent with the shoulder. So from this position where the arm is flat against your body, you bring it up and catch. This is now taking that limb you were controlling, and then you're going to break it. Now, the arm that's breaking, put that arm on the shoulder. The arm that's pulled back goes under. Up, controlling the limb. Down, flat against your body. There's no gap. Not a chance for your opponent to try and squeeze a hand through. Catch, pull and break. Cover. So again, arm that's breaking, shoulder. Arm that's pulled back, side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, let's move on to the next basic. The next basic, it maybe looks to some people like punching someone that is behind you. I don't say it's not a good thing to do. If someone's bear hugging you and your arms are free to go and gouge at their eyes, definitely. If they're stupid enough to be poking their head over your shoulder, stick your finger in their eyes. But odds are they are hiding their head behind your shoulder if they at all know what they're doing. So this isn't meant for that. It's not meant for an attacker that's behind us. This movement here is a throw. And I think this fits very nicely to the Ipunsanagi, where you've got one arm, you are pulling the arm across your body, your other arm comes on the outside of that arm and grabs. Often when you see a fist, it means grabbing, not necessarily punching. I'm grabbing, I'm in this position here, and then from here I'm going to throw. Now, the kata simultaneously then turns around, which I believe has got nothing to do with the actual throw. You're in position here. This says this has the potential for the throw, so this is what you would be doing here. But to show you the action is in that direction, so to maybe give it as a little sign, your energy is going that way, or at least your opponent's going that way. So from here, your next move in the kata would be stepping across and turning around, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the throw, with that throw, but is probably more to do with hooking your leg and across your opponent and throwing over the hip. Different technique again. So let's look at this one. Punch over the shoulder. Remember, I say punch, I don't mean hit the guy in the face. Grab. Again. 2, 3, 4. Very important here to keep the knees bent. The knees bent is from where you would do an Ipunsanagi. You would drop your body weight and just pop the knees back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, enough of that movement. Let's move on to the next one. So from here, take your left hand, so you're mirror imaging me, block across your body, and let the thumb, which is tucked in, touch the outer thigh here, the upper leg. Your other hand, which is here, presses straight out. So it is going to be lift, block across your body, and push. Lift, block across your body, and push. Lift, block and push. Lift, block and push. Lift, block and push. And we do one more for good measure. Lift, block and push. Right, the next part basically comes from your Gekisare and Gekisare ni katas. So from here, catch, kick, elbow. Only difference, now the hand is here instead of there. I'm not pulling anything back. I might be controlling and striking with the elbow into my opponent. So this usually shows a controlling movement instead of a grabbing movement. So 1. Now, this hand, catch. 1, 2. Kick, elbow. Catch. 1, 2. Kick, elbow. Catch. 1, 2. Kick, elbow. Last time. Catch. 1, 2. Kick, and elbow. Right. Now we get to another part of the kata that is often a bit confusing. The kata steps backwards at this point in time. And when I see a backward step, in my mind, it immediately registers as I'm absorbing energy. I'm being pushed or I'm pulling a weight. To control that weight, to regain my posture, I step back into a long stance. This is what's being done in the kata. We're not going to worry about the step back now, but I want you to keep that in mind. When you see a step back, you're either being pushed or you are pulling. Right. From a shoulder width position here, take your left hand and just for the exercise, visualize pushing someone's head down. And as you're pushing them down, your other hand comes up. Bring my hand out the way and hit them behind the neck. Push down, lift up, elbow. Push down, lift up, elbow. It might also be an elbow going straight into my opponent's sternum, but it's a nice way to imagine I'm pulling the head down, dropping behind the neck. Pulling the head down, drop the elbow on the back of the skull. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Last one. 1, 2. Okay. Next, we open and pull. When I was starting off karate, when I was learning karate, I was taught it as someone's grabbing my wrists and I break out. Honestly, someone grabs my wrist with both their hands, that's just asking for a knee kick. There are far, far better ways of breaking out of my opponent's wrists grip than pulling all the way up here. One would be knee kick him and just rotate the grip and you reverse the grip and then smack him. So I don't believe it's meant for wrist grabbing. What I do believe, if you look at the movement, I am clearing the arms and I do a headbutt. It's just cleaned up and hidden from outside view. In the kata, you're not going 1, 2, hide it. Don't show the civilians what it means. This is from their time when katas were very much cleaned up to not give away any secrets. Okay? So from here, clear the arms. I'm pressing the arms out. Very similar to what you were doing in the beginning of the kata when you were doing this. But now you're doing it with both hands. Simple enough. Clear. Grab them. Headbutt them. But we do the kata. So from here, 1, 2. We do it again. Just take note, right arm goes below left arm. Right under left, 1, 2. Right under left, 1, 2. 1, 2. Last time, 1, 2. Oh, one more thing to remember, not when you're pulling, have the elbows out here. Because again, you've got now no defense between you and your opponent, whereas if you do this, you've got your elbows in the way to poke them against the chest muscles if they're now rushing you. So this to here, keep the elbows locked in. Right, from that point in the kata, we get back to these basics again. I'm going to, next week when we do the combinations, look a little bit closer as to how the hand actually doesn't stop there. But it's nice for starting point to go, arms are here, catch, see the catch, pull it in, break the arm. But then it's actually horribly wrong when applied. So when applied, you want to be working in a more circular motion. But we'll get to that next week during the combination training. Right, so basically we get to the last part of the kata. This here. So from here, I'm going to stand on side on here. Left hand goes to shoulder, so you also face that direction. Right hand goes under. Now, left hand will be going down, and it's very clear it is pushing something away, while the other hand is striking or pressing. Pulling, pressing. Pulling, pressing. And that theme actually comes through the whole kata. Pulling, pressing. Pressing, controlling, now catching, pulling, and breaking. So that type of movement shouldn't be a surprise by the end of the training. So 1 and 2. Top hand, left hand on shoulder, right hand under. Top hand, left hand goes down, and it's pulling, clearing. Other hand goes up. It's striking or pressing. Again, right under, left on top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And next week again during combination training, we'll explore that a little bit deeper. And that's it for Shisochin.